The Season 3 Reloaded update just dropped and there were many buffs and nerfs, and so I'm here today to show you what's meta and what goes in the bin. With the first weapon being an honorable mention, we got the BAL-27. This is from Advanced Warfare, one of my favorite guns in this game. It seems very good. I haven't rocked it too much, but for my testing I did figure out a very good class. Basically, this thing starts with a slower fire rate, then as you hold the trigger, the fire rate is going to increase, and so it will kill quicker, but you gotta shoot a lot of shots. Overall, it does feel very good. Headshots don't do anything at all. It's always going to kill in a 5 shots. And then another big con of it is that it doesn't have that fast of a sprint to fire speed. It's pretty slow in that category, which is why we got the DR6 on there to increase the overall mobility. Still is going to be a little bit slow, but it's not going to be as slow. And then for the barrel to increase that damage range, allowing us to kill a little bit quicker, we got the Crown H3 barrel. We get mobility as well. We are going to be losing a little bit more of our sprint to fire speed, but we do get a lot of damage, and so it kind of is a must. For the muzzle, this one is going to be the attachment that you can swap out for something else if you want. For me, I got the compensated flash hider on here. I found that it reduced the recoil the most, although if we go over to these stocks, another pretty good one is going to be the Ardent Tac stock. You guys can see it adds a lot of recoil, gun kick control, and things like that, but we are losing a little bit of our sprint to fire speed, and so that's why I'm running a muzzle instead. And then I do have the 60-round mag on here, since you only have about 30 bullets, and this gun starts to fire pretty quick, and so you do blow through the ammo, and so I do recommend the 60. If you don't really care about that, obviously you can go over here and add the Ardent, then you'll have absolutely no recoil. You can run an optic, but you get the classic AW BAL-27 iron sights, and so I definitely would not run an optic. Another good option is going to be the Razorhawk laser light. You can run this on like any gun. That's going to increase the sprint to fire speed by a ton. You guys can see that it's still pretty bad, but it's not going to be nearly as bad. Without any attachments, I think it's like 230, which is insane. And then that's another reason why for the rear grip, we got the hammer grip, which is just going to specialize in that handling and a little bit of our mobility. Yes, we lose recoil control, but those pros outweigh those cons. And then if you guys do want to screenshot the class, there you guys go. This thing's insane. Now for the first gun, this is going to be the MCW, and the MCW actually got another nerf. I can't believe they nerfed it again. They didn't nerf the damage or anything, but they nerfed the overall hip fire spread, making it not as good up close. But it's still a very good weapon. You just kind of have to run it with the Jack Raven kit. If you don't got the Jack Raven kit on here, it's one of the slowest killing guns in the game, and so definitely do not rock it unless you got the Jack Raven kit. You guys can see it does turn it into like an SMG. Super fun gun to use with it. It's honestly like my favorite gun in the game, but I think I'll like the BAL a little bit more. And then for the muzzle, we got the compensated flash hider on there to reduce the overall bounce. And then for the laser, we are going to be adding the Razorhawk. Again, you can swap this out for something else, but this is going to increase that sprint to fire speed so much, allowing you to actually use this gun like an SMG, and that's kind of where it shines in the game. But you could take off the laser, go over to the barrel, add the Cyclone long barrel. It's going to make the gun feel a little bit more responsive since you get more ball velocity. It's going to feel like you're playing on a better ping. Could add the high grade rounds, but at that point I'll just add the Cyclone. You can add an optic, stock, or rear grip. The only rear grip I honestly would add though, probably the Rapid Strike or the RB Claw. And for me though, I just like the laser. For the underbarrel, for the same reasons, we got the DR6 hand stop. There really isn't any cons of this underbarrel, but it really makes the weapon so much lighter, and I honestly use that on like almost every single gun in the game. And then we got the 40-round mag on here just because with the Jack Raven kit, it does increase that fire rate, so you're going to be blowing through ammo. This is going to allow you to actually get a couple more kills within that same fight. And then if you guys do want the screenshot, there you go. This next weapon is going to be the AMR9. It actually got a damage range buff. It's still not going to be like that good of an SMG, but it's a lot better than it was before, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot of people in ranked play rocking it. Like, this thing is honestly super fun to use now. So again, for the muzzle, we got the compensated flash hider on there. This thing does bounce around a little bit. That's one reason why a lot of people don't like this gun. This is going to really reduce that recoil, and you can honestly use it like an AR. I'm not going to be running a barrel, underbarrel, laser, or anything like that. I do blow through ammo all the time with it, so I'm going to be running the 50-round mag. If I weren't to run the 50-round mag, I would definitely add the DR6 hand stop, since this gun does have a slow sprint to fire speed. That's one thing that makes it a little bit worse compared to the other SMGs in the game. And then for the optic, we got the MK3 reflector on here. We all know the AMR9 iron sights are absolutely horrible. Obviously though, if you like the iron sights, you can make the gun a little bit better. Then you could add the DR6 hand stop. You can go over to the barrel. One barrel I really like is the Enforcer. It adds a lot of damage range and things. Yes, it hurts the mobility, but you get so much damage range that it honestly does help the weapon a lot. It's just I just found myself doing always better with this class, and I really like this class. And again, since that sprint to fire speed on the AMR9 is so slow, we got the Phantom grip. This is going to specialize in ADS speed and sprint to fire speed, bringing that up to 130 113 milliseconds. Still pretty slow for an SMG, but it's not going to be as slow. And then for the stock, we got the Wolfhound carbine stock on there for the gun kick control and recoil control. Again, you could swap out some of these attachments for like DR6 hand stop. You could add the Chimera laser. That's going to make it a lot better. Let's bring in the sprint fire speed down to 92 milliseconds. Definitely, the congestion's crazy. Definitely try that out. This is just my overall favorite build for the gun. Next up, we got the WSP9. This thing actually got a massive buff. They increased the overall sprint to fire speed, which this gun already had a decent sprint to fire speed. I think they did that because this thing has an open bolt delay. Basically, when you go to pull the trigger, there's going to be a slight delay, and then so it does make the time to kill a little bit slower. But if you have a fast sprint to fire speed, it kind of cancels that out. You might honestly see a lot of people rock this thing in ranked play. Like this build too, no recoil, so broken, a lot of mobility. If you don't like the build, definitely go on my channel and check out some other builds for the gun, because this thing has a lot of different variations of it. Overall though, again, I really like the compensated flash hider. It just is one of the best muzzles in the game for the recoil control and basically having no cons. It's kind of what you always want to do for your guns. You want to fine tune them, make them a little bit better without really hurting them, and so that's why we got that muzzle. And same reasons go for the underbarrel. I really do like the DR6 hand stop. It's just I feel like a lot of you probably aren't, you know, super cracked out. You know, you all got full-time jobs and or in school, so Phantom 5 is probably going to be a little bit easier to use. But if you can do good with the weapon, definitely rock the DR6 hand stop, since if we look at those pros, we get recoil control and handling, but with the DR6 we get a lot of mobility and handling, and so it just depends on the skill of you. And then for the next attachment, this gun only has I think about 25 rounds. Yeah, so you're going to be blowing through ammo, so that's why I got the 40 round mag on there. Yes, there are a lot of cons, but this thing just got a sprint to fire speed boost, and so you know, it doesn't really matter. 61 milliseconds while having a 40 round mag. That is insane. Got the MK3 reflector on there. If you don't want that, you could go over here and add the WSP factory stock. Yes, you lose recoil control, but you get a lot of mobility and handling, so if you're playing on a smaller map, you might honestly like that more. Or you could even go over to the laser and add the Chimera laser, and now your sprint to fire speed's 51 milliseconds, and so you can make this thing dumb broken. You could even add a barrel on here. Usually I would add a barrel, but recently I just, you know, I haven't really been running a barrel, and I still do very good. You can run the Reckless 90. It gives you so much damage range. Yes, you lose a lot of your sprint to fire speed, but it's 73 milliseconds, which is faster than any other SMG in the game, so it's still going to be insane. You're definitely going to be seeing a lot of builds coming from this gun. Previously I would add the WSP TAC 20 grip, but now that the sprint to fire speed's increased, we can get away with running the Marauder, so now we get more recoil control, making the gun even easy to use at long range. Keep in mind that recoil gun kick is what really helps control the recoil, as well as the fire aiming stability. Horizontal and vertical recoil help a lot, but not that much. Next up, we got the AMR9, which they actually buffed the damage range, and so we're not going to be running a barrel on this anymore. I was having a lot of fun with just having more mobility attachments and just, you know, taking advantage of the a little bit of extra damage range that it naturally has. Also, some of the perks and stuff got a buff, so I'll be going over all those after I give you all these classes. So we are going to be running the Zen compensated flash hider, again, best muzzle in the game. Underbarrel, since this gun is already strong, it's already good in every other category of you know, you know what I mean. DR6 hand stop is just going to make the weapon a little bit lighter, allowing you to win more gunfights up close, and then you are going to be blowing through ammo. So we got the 50 round mag on there. We are losing mobility, but again, we got the DR6 hand stop to mitigate those cons. And one thing you guys could try doing, taking off the magazine or the rear grip, then going over to the barrel, and obviously you could add the princeps if you want a lot of damage range. That's still going to be a very good barrel for the gun, but the thorn barrel adds a lot of mobility, and since we got more damage range now you have like a mini AR in your hand. Definitely try out the thorn and the princeps. For me though, I just really like this build. I always do the best with this exact build. And then for the stock, sometimes I'll run the hatchet light, but I just like the folding stock, since if we look at those pros, we get the recoil gun kick, horizontal and the vertical, with only losing about 5% to our ADS speed. And so now this weapon still is going to be pretty bouncy. That's like the biggest con of the gun, but you can't really reduce the bounce, and so that's why, you know, we got all the mobility attachments and just a couple recoil control attachments. I'm going to be running the assault. Does help out the weapon, not too needed though, and so if you do want to swap anything, I'd probably take off the assault grip, maybe add the barrel. You could add high grain rounds, you could add the Chimera laser, you could go over here and add the optic. Like honestly, the lasers are like the best attachment you can add. It's just there's a laser, so it's up to you if you want the enemies to see your laser. Here is the screenshot of the AMR9 build. This last weapon is going to be the BP50. This gun just got a conversion kit, which turns it into an SMG. I know it looks like there's a lot of recoil, but you can't reduce that recoil though, so again, we're just going to be increasing the mobility, and I got a suppressor on there to keep you off the radar, which that suppressor is going to be the sonic suppressor. It's also going to increase that damage range and the bow velocity, overall making the gun feel a lot more responsive. And you know, finally, we are not running the Zen compensated flash hider. Then for the laser, obviously you could swap this out for something else, but just try out the laser on here. This thing is going to make the sprint fire speed 90 96 milliseconds, which, you know, the only difference between an AR and an SMG is the sprint to fire speed. Now this thing has an SMG sprint to fire speed, allowing you to use it like an SMG. And then to increase the overall damage range, we are going to be adding the high grade rounds, since we cannot run a barrel, underbarrel, magazine, stock, or comb. You know, the gun's pretty limited when you got the Jack Revenger kit on there. And yes, we are losing more recoil control, but whenever I increase the recoil control, I didn't notice any recoil control benefits. And then when I reduced the recoil control, I didn't notice, you know, more recoil at all. So we're just making the weapon a little bit stronger. And then if you guys want to look at the Jack Revenger kit, you guys can see it does seem like it murders the weapon a lot, but we get so much more fire rate and a lot of mobility, making this actually, I believe, the fastest killing AR in the game. The it's the second fastest. MCW kills a little bit faster, but you have less ammo and less mobility. This thing kills a tad slower, but you have more mobility and more ammo, since it comes with a 60 round mag, which is insane. Then for the rig up, we got the CCG tac tape, just to make this thing more viable against those SMGs. It's going to increase that sprint to fire speed. Again, I tried out the grip tape, which gives you a lot of recoil control, but I didn't notice the benefits at all, and I didn't really notice the benefits with the tac tape. Then if you guys do want to screenshot the build, there you guys go. So for the perks, they did change a little bit of things. They basically took out climbing boots out of the game. Now you can just get the effects of climbing boots naturally, which is super nice, increasing the mobility like all around. And then they replaced the climbing boots with the all-terrain boot. You guys can see it's going to significantly increase the movement speed, disables tac sprint. I have yet to really try it out. Definitely try it. That would be sick if it makes it so you like your sprint speed is your tac sprint speed. That would be super cool, or if not faster. That's kind of like how I want Black Ops Gold 4, whatever that next Call of Duty is. I kind of hope they take out tac sprint and just your sprint speed is the same speed as tac sprint speed, if that makes sense. And then the last thing I want to show you guys is going to be the Stalker boot. This is going to increase that strafe and the ADS movement speed, which it used to, I believe, only be linear. Like you only could get it if you're moving like this, but now you can like strafe faster if you're moving forward, left, right, zigzags. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to strafe overall a lot quicker, which strafing gives you that rotational aim assist and seriously does give you more aim assist. So make sure you always strafe. All that said, though, that's going to wrap it up. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button, and deuces.